So here's something I'm a little embarrassed to admit. For a long time, I was making decisions based upon how I felt. Good earnings report, felt good, bought more. Market dipped, felt nervous, sold. Tips from someone online, I felt excited and I jumped in. That was it, man. That was the whole process. How I felt. Feelings are not a strategy, and I know that now. This is the episode where I stopped feeling my way through trades and started following rules. So hey, before we begin, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this here is financial advice. This is just my story. So last episode, I talked about finding Seeking Alpha and Gary at Daily Stock Pick and how that shifted me from reacting to actually evaluating. But here's the thing, right? Having better information isn't enough if you don't have a process for using it. That's what this episode is about. Here's the thing about rules in investing. They're not there just because the market is predictable. It's not. They're there because you are predictable. Your fear is predictable. Your greed, it's predictable. Your tendency to hold a loser too long and sell a winner too early, that's completely predictable. Rules exist to protect you from yourself. And what I'd seen happen when I didn't have them, the zero-DTE community, the SoFi assignment, the Palantir Christmas trade. Every one of those was operating on instinct and emotion instead of on a framework. So you know what I did? I built one and I called it Plan Alpha. Around this time, I found OVTLYR and Christopher Uhl. OVTLYR, it's a signal service, but it's not the kind that just tells you what to buy. It's really about when to potentially get in and when to get out, and the reasoning behind each call. What I liked about Christopher immediately was the way he works, man. He uses OVTLYR's proprietary signals, but he layers his own trend analysis on top of that. Specifically, the 10, the 20, and the 50 exponential moving averages. He's watching how price behaves relative to those EMAs. Are they stacked in the right order? Is the trend confirming or starting to break down? That combination, OVTLYR, signals plus EMA trend analysis, gave me something I hadn't had before. Not just a signal that said buy this, but a framework for understanding why the signal was firing and what the trend was actually doing underneath it. He wasn't selling a dream. He was selling a process. There's a big difference. I started incorporating OVTLYR's signals and Christopher's trend work into my own process, not as the only input, but as one of the gates I had to pass through before entering anything. That concept, the gates, became part of the backbone of Plan Alpha. So Plan Alpha works like this. Before I enter any trade, I run it through a checklist, and every gate has to be open. Not most of them, all of them. Gate 1, VIX. If the volatility is elevated, I stay out. The VIX tells me whether the market environment is even worth trading in right now. High VIX means uncertainty is spiking. I don't fight it, I wait. Gate 2, that's MACD confirmation. I want to see MACD signaling in the right direction I want to trade. If it's not confirming, I wait. Gate 3, Seeking Alpha's quant. That stock needs a strong rating. I am not entering a position on a stock the quant system doesn't like, period. Gate 4, OVTLYR signals. If Christopher's system isn't flagging this as an entry, I wait. And then there's my own screener on top of all of that. Every gate open, I consider the trade. One gate closed, I walk away, no exceptions. No, well, there's 4 out of 5, that's pretty good. The last part, well, that's the hardest, man, because there will always be a trade that looks great on 4 or 5 gates. And you'll want to convince yourself that 5th gate does not matter. Well, to me, it matters. I learned that too. One more piece I want to mention because it's become a real part of my process. That's AI, specifically Claude, and also Sidekick, which is part of TrendSpider. I use these tools to stress test my thinking when I enter a trade. I will lay out my thesis. Here's the stock. Here's why I like it. Here's what the quant says. Here's what OVTLYR is showing. But then I ask AI to push back. Find me the holes. Tell me what I'm missing. Now here's the thing. It's not making decisions for me. I want to be clear about that. The framework makes the decisions. But AI has become a really useful layer, making sure I've got something all the way through before I pull the trigger. That's the difference between having a conversation with yourself and having a conversation with something that doesn't have an emotional attachment to the outcome. That's harder to find than you think. So Plan Alpha built, gates defined, tools in place. And one stock, it kept clearing every single gate. Every screen, every check. Micron Technology, MU. My first purchase was at $280 a share. In the next episode, I'm going to tell you exactly why I bought it, how I sized the position, and what happened after, including the part where it ran past $1,100, and the part where I got out, and where it is now, and why my framework is keeping me out until it's time to get back in. So subscribe for episode 6. That's the one where people are really going to want to see. Drop a comment. Have you had rules for your trades, or are you still trading on instinct? I was there too, man. So I'll see you soon.